Hello and welcome to another ICE video. Today we're going to be taking a look at what has established itself as one of the most powerful archetypes in the current modern format. We have blue-white control. This deck really took, it actually got a lot of upgrades over the past year. Of course, like the biggest one is Counterspell. The fact that Counterspell is now legally modern really gives this deck an answer that is flexible and that doesn't expire. Like in the past, decks like this have played cards like Mana Leak or Mana and stuff like that. And those cards have, they have an expiration date. After a while, they just start sucking, which is bad. Your opponent can play around them very easily. Counterspell is going to be good on turn 2, it's going to be good in turn 15. Like, it just doesn't matter. It's always going to be able to answer whatever your opponent throws at it. It also has access to Archmage's Charm, which is a card that we have had access to for a while now, but people have really started to figure out the fact that this card is just stellar. Like, this card is actually just fantastic. It's pretty efficient for what it does, and the flexibility that it provides is second to none. Really, the only one that comes close is Cryptic Command, obviously, and we all know how the difference between 3 and 4 mana is just is way too much. So those are the big upgrades. The other one is Solitude. People finally started to figure out that Solitude is a messed up card, and it allows it to have interaction in the early game, which is not bad, because in the past, this deck used to play cards like Path to Exile, but Path to Exile giving your opponent a land in the early game, particularly when you have to path their monkey like a Ragavan or a Deathrite a DRC. It can be problematic and can actually set you very far behind. Solitude requires you to get it just to 2-for-1 yourself, which is fine because we have ways to make that up. We have access to Chalice of the Void. Since we're not playing any 1-drops, we can actually play multiple copies of Chalice, and this card tends to be, against a large part of the format, it tends to be a multiple for 1, really. You just drop Chalice and you may just keep your opponent with multiple cards stranded in their hand that they simply cannot cast. Chalice of the Void is actually a big piece of the puzzle as to why this deck is good, and a big reason is that Chalice of the Void itself is very good. The format is basically it has kind of established itself between the CMC of 1, between all of the DRC, the monkey decks, which are trying to be doing something very, very efficient and just try to be like 1 mana, and just try to play the maximum amount of spells that they can. And then the Cascade spells, where you can just play your Chalice on 0 and you can counter whatever the namesake of the deck is, be it Liminent, be it Rhinos, even be it the other one, the Elementals Cascade one that people don't play anymore. But those are the options, and Chalice takes care of all of those. So the card is very, very strong. And the interaction with Prismatic Ending is just incredible, right? Like, we can Prismatic Ending even a 1-drop, but you can make it cost 2. And because Prismatic Ending says that the value needs to be less than the amount of mana that you paid, means that you can pay 2 mana to answer a 1-drop, and you can play around your own Chalice very, very effectively. So this is just a fantastic synergy here. The rest of the deck is what we know, like the Fairy Time Raveler, which is just very, very good right now. Hero of Dominaria, which is okay, and like this card stopped seeing play because Unholy Heat put a pretty hard strain of this card, but now you're playing Chalice, so your Chalice kind of protects your Hero of Dominaria from Holy Heat, which is very, very nice, so Hero of Dominaria can play again. And then Mind Sculptor and 2 copies of Memory Deluge. This is a new one. This one is from the Innistrad set, Innistrad Midnight Hunt. And this card has surprised. Like, in the beginning I was like, maybe it could be better in certain circumstances, could be better than Fact or Fiction, but it turns out that it's a lot better. The flashback comes up a lot, and not only does it come up a lot, but it's also very, very, very good. So like, the fact that you can get a 4-for-1 out of a single card is just fantastic. Rounding things up is Supreme Verdict. Sweepers are actually very, very good right now in Modern, probably the best that they have been in years for sure. So we're trying to maximize the fact that we get access to cards like Supreme Verdict. So we are going to be playing multiple copies of the Sweeper in order to help us catch up. Again, in the early game, you can use your Solitudes in order to keep up, and then Supreme Verdict kind of like closes the door on your opponent. When we go to the mana base, we see a classic making a comeback, Celestial Colonnade. We also have 2 copies of Castle Ventress and 1 copy of Castle Ardenvale. These are just like a couple of utility lands, and the rest of them is just the mana base that you would expect. Some Glacial Fortresses, some fetch lands. The only things to detail are the Rogue in Triumph. We're playing 1 single copy of Rogue in Triumph, and the point of this is so we can Prismatic Ending for X equals 3. For a very, very low cost. Usually you can figure out a way to fetch for this and just kind of get it out of the way, and just sits in play, and you can use it whenever necessary. And lastly, Mystic Gate, which is very, very good when you're trying to play Archmage's Charm and you have a Castle Ardenvale and basic planes in your deck. You can use Mystic Gate in order to filter your mana and still allow you to cast your Archmage's Charm on 3. The sideboard includes a little bit of everything. First of all, we have Kahira. It's free to play, and it has the main synergy is that you can pitch it to Solitude. that is the main synergy that it has with the deck. But it's free to put it in your sideboard, and it actually does come up a fair amount, because you can play it out for 3 mana. You can start clocking your opponent if you need to start to end the game, and it pumps your Solitude, so you can close the door a little bit faster, and randomly just pumps your Colonnade as well, because the Colonnade does give you an elemental, so that's a very, very fun interaction. Domin's Veto for like combo and control mirrors. Shark Typhoon against opposing Teferi Time Ravelers is the main reason, but we have up to 4 copies of the card. Mystical Dispute against blue decks. Spreading Seas, the card is absolutely fantastic. Actually, I forgot to mention that we're playing 2 cards in the main. That's how good the card is right now. It deals with Saga, it deals with Valakut, it deals with Tron lands, like you name it. Spreading Seas has got it covered. Celestial Purge against the Burn gamers of the world. And speaking of Burn, we also have a new one from Innistrad Midnight Hunt, which is Sunset Revelry. This card is like a cheaper Timely Reinforcement, and even though it does give you a little bit less life, it does make up for that by costing less mana. So it's a lot easier to push through Skullcrack. It's a very, very common play pattern against Burn. It's like turn 3 comes around and you're just jamming the Timely because you don't have any other options, because Timely is so inefficient at 3 mana, and your opponent just Skullcracks you and the game ends immediately. So Sunset Revelry allows you to play around Skullcrack a little bit better. And last card is Rest in Peace. Lots of graveyard decks right now, Living End, and lots of decks that are taking some very, very just like value out of the graveyard. Like we see all the DRC decks, we see the Renan 6 decks, we see like a bunch of Tarmogoyf's decks that are making a comeback. So the card overall has been pretty good, and it has shown up. It has shown to be worth the slot. We're going to be playing this deck through a league, and if you are enjoying this kind of content, of course, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. You can help us grow the Ice channel. And in the meantime, I'll see you for number 1. Alright, here we go. I'm putting mulligans to 6. I think I'm keeping this. Both of our lands enter the battlefield tapped. That's pretty unlucky. But it's fine. Like we got 2 lands. We have a way to cycle. Double Teferi, we have some early interaction. I think this is a fine keep. This does strike me as a fine keep. Looks like we're facing Hammer. And they move to 5. Okay. Oh, I should have played Castle Ardenvale there. Yeah, that was a mistake. That was a mistake. The proper sequence was to Castle Ardenvale there. I think I want to Prismatic Ending this thing and just pay. I think I have to take advantage of the fact that my opponent's falling behind on both mana and cards. So that gets rid of that guy. Then we can like Time Traveler. Zero drop is actually pretty good for them. What is this? Stoneforge Mystic. That sounds fine. Find the hammer. Play that tap, say go. So if they If they Stoneforge the hammer in, we can just Solitude whatever they target. Okay. Just gonna exile the Pure Steel here. This doesn't tap for mana just yet. The ability is still in the stack. So we do get to exile the Paladin. And if they go for the hammer, I think I'm going to just gonna counter this. And now what we can do is I would really like to deny them to make some Saga tokens. So I think I'm gonna bounce the Springleaf Drum. That is nice. They can find a land off the top, which would be kind of annoying, but Esper Sentinel, that's fine. Now the question is, do I kill this Stoneforge Mystic? I think the answer is no, because I want to play another Teferi anyway, so I can do the same thing again. Get a Triumph, find the land. It's pretty nice actually. So whatever they suit up with the Aid, we just kill. And then we can Time Raveler, kill the Construct token. They've chosen the target, so there's no reason to have them gain 10 life. I'm just gonna do that. Got perfect info. That's a nice stop deck. Yeah, I think I'm gonna pay here. This is not that nice a top deck, huh? If they draw Pure Steel Paladin, we could be in trouble. So they can't attack here. Yeah, they can't. Yeah, they forgot that there's a Teferi in play. I mean, they could have still just not done anything, right? They could have just passed the turn. Anyway, whatever. Okay, we won Spreading Seas. Definitely very good against Urza's Saga. Childless is solid. My opponent seems to be on mono white. I could be wrong about that. There's some versions running around that are playing Dark Confident, which is interesting. I'm assuming that's not what we're up against right now. So Verdict look very good. Teferi looks oddly fine, actually. Maybe we can cut one of them. These are great. These are great. Shark Typhoon is not great. Teferi Hero of the Minaria, maybe it's not great. We do have some clunky. We do have some really clunky cards. Like these are some clunkers, but particularly the Jace is kind of clunky. It's probably better to have a split though. It's quite possible that on the draw maybe I should be just playing more Teferis. Okay, so this time around, I imagine that they're keeping 7. Let me put the thingy over there. No, they moved to 6 again. Never ever mulligan. This hand is fine. I wish this was a verdict instead of a Teferi, but it's fine. Maybe they are playing Thoughtseizes. Okay. It's not looking bad. Sure. It's kind of a medium Thoughtseize, honestly. That's not a very good Thoughtseize. Maybe the Saga is solid. We can bounce it. See if they have another land. They don't have another land. Since they don't have another land, I think I'm just gonna bounce the Springleaf Drum again. Now whatever they play, if they play a creature, we can just Jace it, and then untap with 2 Planeswalkers. Unless they can play 2 spells. It's a Memnite. Not super scared of a Memnite. That one I'm a little bit more scared of. Maybe just a little bit more scared of that one. So I'm just gonna Jace minus on the Paladin. So if they want to recast it, they have to tap the Memnite and I can't attack, and then I get to untap with Jace. Okay, but if they do that, then they can't cast the Paladin. And now we can steal their Memnite. So Jace down, plus I'm gonna Chalice for 1, and on their upkeep, gonna gain control of Memnite. This means that they don't have Metalcraft anymore. Well, this is really good for me. They just deny themselves a mana. Because if they draw another 0, they could have used Springleaf Drum to cast their 2-drop. But now they can't. Now we can start beating down. This is hilarious. So we bounce the Aid. They can't recast it because of Chalice. It's a pretty good draw. It's a pretty good draw. So we're just gonna 11 them. And they should be locked up. Plus here. If they have an answer to this, I just counter it. This game's over. GG's. 1-0. Alright, here we go. Another Lurrus deck. Let's keep this hand. Almost regardless of which Lurrus deck my opponent's playing, this should be a fine hand. Only exception could maybe be, our best throw would be Prismatic Ending. It's easy, man. It's so easy. It is so easy. Bye bye, monkey. So next turn we just Chalice. Ren, dashed monkey. Okay, that's fine. There's nothing they're going to be able to cast off of this, so this doesn't matter. And now the fact that they dashed means that, you know, Chalice just means that I don't care. Oh no, that's so good. Well, that's never mind. The good thing, at least we get to spreading seas their stomping ground. That was such a good Inquisition. Wow. It's pretty insane. Miss land drop? Ah, got him. I think we're just gonna play the fairy and just plus here. Minus, sorry, I meant to say minus. That's a good one. This is also a good one. We're looking pretty good here. Spreading is just so randomly great. Just got some times where you're just like, well, I guess we'll lock them out. Sweet. Another replay the Goyf. I'm probably gonna prismatic ending this thing. Filter lands are messy in Magic Online. Filter lands are messy in Magic Online. We do have the Wrath to clean up this Whirza Saga, which is very nice. We also have Solitude. If we find a land, we'll just get to hardcast the Fairy, which would put us in a very good spot. Don't really have anything going on. Land? Solitude. Like, if they spend their entire turn making 2 tokens, we just get to verdict them away. It's probably good for us. We also get to steal one of them. I kind of want to draw 2. This Burning Sis is just doing so much work, it's insane. I don't think that this deck's mana is a little bit shaky. They're playing like 23 lands, 19 of which only tap for mana. Because 4 of them are just sagas, which destroy themselves. And they play like 8 fetches usually, which means that, you know, Ren oftentimes is not going to have something to get back. I think they should play at least 1 or 2 more lands. And those should be fetch lands. But there's always a balance, right? Like, you want to figure out, okay, what's better? Should I just be trying to save my life against burn? Or should I just like build my deck in order to do its thing a little bit better? And everything is a trade-off, obviously. I mean, as is the fairy is not dying. Which maybe means I'm gonna draw 2 with this Archmage's Charm, which should be pretty good. Maybe they have Pithing Needle in the main deck. Pyrite Spellbomb. Okay, which they can't crack. Again. Spreading seas. The seas are spreading, alright. Oh, please play another Goyf or something. Abrupt Decay, Spreading Seas. Sure, you got it. Can't counter that one. Monkey. White 1, white blue. Yep. Well, like that. plus pass the turn. They could have an unholy heat to get rid of the fairy, which is, yep, just kind of annoying. It's fine. I still think I'm supposed to just slam there, right? They cycle. Plus, I think I'm going to draw Kahira this turn. We get to draw 2 on their end step. Yep. Mishra's power results. Ren and 6, I guess, is the only thing that I could be scared of. Don't think I'm scared about that one. Is that the 4th monkey? 3rd monkey. Going face. I think this is fine. And holy heat. I'm going to counter that. Planeswalker in play seems strong enough to want to protect, I think. And now if they want to do the same thing next turn, we can super punish them. I guess they can just find another red source, I guess. But... so maybe that's an argument for playing out the Kahira. I'm not sure. So if they do have heat number 3, they're going to be able to get rid of the fairy. Which is bad for me. Lashed monkey. Kill it. Ren's pretty good. Ren is very, very good. We do get to play Kahira now and kill the Ren, which is pretty nice. They did get 1 Saga worth of value, which is not the end of the world, really. That's fine. We can just balance it with the fairy, draw another card. Let's see what this is. Put Lurrus in hand? Sure. I mean, if that's the best they can do. So I guess I'm saving these Archmage's Charm so I can counter this. Taking 7 this turn, and we have lethal the following turn. That's no joke. We do get to pseudo Tomwalk them next turn. And we still have 1 more Teferi activation in the tank. Really? Four, 10. Wait, do I have lethal? No, I can put my opponent down to 1. So I could place a consolidate. This would be 4, 8, 10. No, that's right. 4, 8. Is this just lethal? 4, 8, 11 plus 5 is 16. That is absolutely hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. All right, guess we're doing that. Dude, Kahira, let's go. Kahira. Bumping the colonnade. That's kind of awesome. that is kind of awesome. All right, this matchup, I really like Rest in Peace. I really like Celestial Purge. I really like Spreading Seas. Those are the cards I do like. Can cut one Verdict. I think Chalice is a little bit of a liability. Because my opponent's gonna be they're gonna be bringing in like Call Against Command and stuff. So maybe we can do something like this. A little bit more low to the ground. Yeah. I think I like this. Maybe the Sharks are bad. I could see the Sharks being bad. Man, I love that lethal out of nowhere. I love that lethal out of nowhere. Just turning the corner real quick. Real quick. Alright, sweet. Finally, Moto decided to keep my settings. This hand's great. Let's keep it. If they go turn one Monkey, I probably have to Solitude that. Pitching Verdict. Doesn't feel great to 2 for 1 myself, but if this is a Ren, we can just Rest in Peace. Well, that sucks. There's for sure an argument for denying them the red mana there. I think that denying them the 2 colored sources is better. So let's get Castle. Get Kahira. Pass the turn. So these are the cards that my opponent does not know about. If they have a Ren, that's kind of going to be a problem. We're just a tiny bit flooded here. Just 1 too many lands. 1 too many lands. I'm gonna turn on my phone real quick because there's this thing that happens every now and then, which is my bandmates start texting in the group chat, and it's like it never. It's just like it doesn't stop. It just doesn't stop. That's a fantastic draw. That is a fantastic draw. So if they spend their next turn redeploying the Goyf, we just well, Kahira's gone. But if they spend their turn redeploying the Goyf, we just Solitude it, no big deal. Yep. Wonder if they're going. Yeah, I was gonna say. I wonder if they're just gonna kill it. I guess in this deck list I am playing Jace Mind Sculptor, so maybe I should be saving my fetches. I'm gonna start saving my fetches from now on. I wonder if I can just hardcast this. I think they probably have 0 answers in their entire deck to a hardcast Sharp Typhoon. If I draw something like a Memory Deluge, I'm going to hardcast a Sharp Typhoon. But I need to, or like a Planeswalker, but it needs to be something that allows me to refuel. Because if it's not something that I can refuel with, then I'm just, you know, I'm not going to be able to get any value from it. Sure, they can kill this, whatever. You got me. Doesn't achieve anything at all. Doesn't achieve anything at all. Yeah, I guess I'm just gonna make a 4/4 shark. Just gonna make a 4/4 shark and draw a card. Thoughtseize. Well, got my Spreading Seas, which honestly was gonna be pretty good. So it is kind of a beating there, but another Goif. No cards in hand. I guess 1 card in hand. Never mind. Another Misty's our draw. So we're probably gonna take 7 this turn. I can make a token, or I can scry. I'm probably gonna scry. Looking for an answer to the Goif. This also means they can cast the Lurrus, DRC. Yeah, gonna need to find some answers. Sure. It's good enough to keep. Gonna bounce the Goif. That's really nice. Am I playing the land? Because if I don't play the land, I can play around call against command. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So this is gonna chump attack into the shark. Yeah, I guess let's play around call against command. Like we just because we can really. The thing that we want to dodge is like kind of Holy Heat, and Holy Heat off the top could potentially be an issue. I mean, we still have to deal with like Goif. Yeah, maybe, I guess the Goif is a reason to want to play the land there. Yeah, maybe the Goif is enough of a reason to want to play the land there. Dashed Monkey. I wonder if they're gonna go with both at the ferry. They are. So I guess I'd rather block the DRC. Because the monkey requires them to use more mana. I don't think I'm going to upkeep Vantress, but I'm not going to attack with the shark because of Dashed Monkey. That's a bad draw. That's a really bad draw. But the monkey's no longer a problem because I have Arden Veil. I think I'm not gonna fetch with this one. Goif is big though. And my opponent does have a couple of draws that are gonna be greatly problematic for me. I mean, we could just draw Verdict. We could draw Solitude. How many Solitudes do we got? We have 2 left. And we have 1 Verdict because we cut one of those. And holy shit. I think they don't realize that there's a Castle Arden Vale in play. No, they don't. We'll block your 2-1. I mean, it does mean I don't get to scry this turn. It's not great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Even one more land could be okay because it allows me to activate both castles. 7 is so much damage. I think I just have to... chump. DRC. If the last card is like a Rain or something, it's a big problem. Okay. Get a repeat of last turn. It's a land, okay. Champeroni. The lands in this deck just do so much. It's crazy. That's funny. Well, I mean, I guess we're going to be playing this game for a long time. Because anything they cast, I'm just going to counter. I mean, I just have to draw something eventually, right? I have to draw something eventually. They bubble themselves? Oh, because the last card is a fetch. Okay. And they're keeping. They don't fetch it. Oh, they do fetch it away. Okay, never mind. No fetchables? There's no way they have no fetchables left. Well, I guess I'm about to be in the same spot. Oh, actually, I was already in that spot. I should have not played that land. I forgot. Like, when did this get discarded? Huh. I have no idea. But apparently one of my islands got discarded at some point. Yep. Out of fetchables. That's a big shark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can make a 7/7 shark. Or I can just hard cast this. But then if my opponent doesn't play anything, I'm in a really bad spot. So I think we're just gonna... I guess it is awkward that I just have to play this shark for... just make a baby shark. Because like it's the same thing, right? Like I'm chomping the Goif. I'm in chomp the Goif mode. So I can only make a 2/2 shark here, realistically. It does dig me 1 card deeper though, which is nice. And again, I have a bunch of cards to just answer this deterministically, like Abrupt Decay and stuff like that. Like, rest in peace, sorry, I don't know why I said Abrupt Decay. Okay, this allows me to do what I wanted to do. That's nice, that's really nice. So now bounce this thing. Yep. Yep. That escalated quickly. That certainly escalated quickly. Guess I don't want to attack in case they have Dash Ragavan. I think I counter the Goif. Definitely counter the Unholy Heat. And the worst thing they can have is like a Renin 6. Or another Unholy Heat, I guess. Abrupt Decay. Yeah, that's fine. Do not really care about that one. Plus first. We're gonna brainstorm. I know that I'm playing into bold, but I would just have too many blanks. Play that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Shuffle, fail to find, that's fine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think I'm just gonna chill here. Opponent has seen enough. 2-0. All right, here we go. We have yet to drop a game. This hand looks very good, so let's keep it. I guess it's not necessarily very good. It's a fine hand. Let's put it like that. It's just a fine hand. Nothing to write home about. This looks to be... Ooh. Well, never mind. This hand is very good. It's living it. So I'm gonna have to play Chalice this coming turn. And if they have Force, they have Force. Unless I find Counterspell. That's my best draw. Not so lucky. Like, I wish I could hold until I can protect with Archmage's Charm, but my opponent can just they can just do it next turn, right? So we can reset their first living in though, so it's not that big of a deal unless it's lethal in a single swing, which seems unlikely. I guess I can even Solitude if I wanted to. Probably not a good idea. I'd rather just Verdict and clean up. They're cycling for a Force. Oh. Please whiff. Please whiff. Pretty please. Don't do it. Don't do it. Resolves. Chalice resolves. Damn it. Alright. Got me. May be able to beat this. Let's go for Hallowed Fountain here. Like, they know I don't have Counterspell, right? Because otherwise I would have just Counterspelled their thing. Their Force. Just resolve my Chalice. Okay. Again, we can still beat this with the Verdict. So I may just draw 2 on their end step. Just because I can clean up afterwards. Grief would be a problem though. Grief could certainly be a problem. Maybe this is greedy, I don't know. I think this is fine. There's always the threat, right? There's always the threat of the counterspell. I mean, really what we want to dodge is grief. Everything else we're kind of okay with. But yeah, our draws have not been generous. Would have really liked to find Fairy 3, another Chalice, Counterspell. Now we had a lot of good draws to find off of that Archmage's Charm, but unfortunately, no such luck. I think it was probably correct for me to just do that there. Okay. So that means that I hold. Should have played the island, by the way. Like, I'm not gonna make a token. And I can potentially threaten counterspell plus Archmage's Charm. Okay, if we go to end step, I think I'm going to scry 2 here. Bottom, top. Yeah, super punished for playing that stupid castle. I wonder what their hand is. Bottom, again, we're looking for Teferi, Chalice. So now we do have double Archmage's Charm available. Counter. Force back. Maybe they have force and then force plus blue card in hand. Force that. If they have force plus blue card, then we're screwed because this is actually just lethal. Third force. Yeah, I feel like we got super unlucky. So if I pitch this Solitude, I do get to exile one of these Waker of Waves. Oh, this is super lethal, right? What if I get to block both things and I top deck exactly Supreme Verdict? Yeah, I think that's my only out, actually. I think that's my only out. I think that this is my only out. And now this resolves and I get to kill 2 of the 7/7s. I guess that they are gonna rearrange the top of my deck, so I don't even get that. Oh, they just target themselves because this card is bugged. Koodle MTGO, my opponent playing around the bug, but just just targeting themselves. That's funny. Like this should be locked up, right? But now because of that bug on Architects of Will, maybe we can access. We can be able to get there. It's pretty brutal how my opponent found like 3 forces before I was able to find. Before I was able to find like another chalice. I had 4 Teferi Time Ravelers, 2 more chalices. I had, I guess, counterspell would have been fine. I guess those don't really do anything. So it was really just like the Teferis, the 4 Teferis and the chalices. So these are 2/2s now. We chomp, take 5. We may be able to do it if we find exactly Verdict. So this is 11. I guess the way to think of it is 10, 19. So we take 19, but we gain 4. So we're gonna be at 3. So if we find Verdict off the top, maybe. I mean, at least we do get to untap. But it needs to be exactly Verdict. Or like, I guess cantrip into Verdict or whatever. It can even be Deluge. It can even be Deluge into Verdict. And we did bottom a Deluge a couple of turns ago, but I didn't think that the game was going to go that far without us finding anything, honestly. I don't know what's going on with my opponent here. Right, finally move to combat. We're just gonna take the double chomp. Down to 3 and hold Teferi into Verdict. That's what I want to see. Teferi, Shark. All right. So we bottom a bunch of non-verdicts. So I think that it's better for us to cycle than to shuffle. Verdict. It's a land. All right. Finally lost the game. This matchup does not look that bad though. Typhoon's probably terrible. Maybe it's like a threat that we can deploy on their end step. Probably better than Jace. Oh, that's right, we're playing Prismatic Ending. Out with that nonsense. Never mind. Never mind, we actually have a bunch of bad cards. So this is good, this is good, this is good, 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 good. Okay, so the Sharks are my worst card, I think. That's fine. The Shark are still better than all of these cards. There are some lists that have started playing a breeding pool. The Yorion lists, I think, are the ones. The blue-white Yorion lists are the ones that have started playing a 1 copy of breeding pool, and that is so they can Prismatic Ending on 4. But that's not what we're doing today. So Prismatic Ending literally answers 0 cards out of their deck. Maybe Endurance if they're bringing that in, which they probably are. But yeah, I mean, in paper it looks like this matchup should be pretty solid. We definitely have the tools. All right, double Teferi, but 1 lander, probably not where we want to be. Well, this one's good. Yeah, this one we're keeping. And I guess there are 2 ways that we can go about this. I can play this Chalice on turn 1, or I can play it on turn 2. I think I'm bottoming this counterspell. And I think I'm going turn 1 Colonnade. And if my opponent has the turn 1 Grief, we get punished, but if they don't, then next turn we get to play Chalice with Dispute backup. And we can start deploying lock pieces. We have 3 of them. Things are gonna have to go really bad for us. Or really good for my opponent. Or both. Mull to 6, so we're on even footing. Let's see that grief. We're gonna see that grief. We are. No, cycle. I guess they're looking for it. No, they do have the grief. They have to take the Chalice. They have to take the Chalice. But that's like the thing, right? Like we choose. Like, okay, do I want to play around force or do I want to play around? Wait, what? Okay. That's very interesting. That's super interesting. Because probably gonna cycle in this on end step. Unless my opponent wants to play a bounce spell here. If they try to brace him or wear my Chalice, I'm gonna counter it. They could have Force of Vigor, I guess. Maybe that's what's up. Which we can't counter. So, okay. Next turn, I mean, I'm gonna cycle this Shark Typhoon end step. Because I don't really care about the 1/1. If I can find another blue card, then I can deploy the second lock piece. So here goes Shark. Another Tef. Land. Yikes. Yeah, I'm gonna go for it. Because if they force this, then they can't answer this. Okay, so they did have the force. Good to know. Next turn we're gonna be able to play the second Teferi with force backup. With dispute backup, sorry. Really? Is that what you wanted to do there? I don't know if that was the play. I don't know if main facing the Solitude was the line, you know? Yeah, that's big. That's big. Whew. Okay, so we want to keep this on top. We want to keep that on top, I guess. The other way around. Because I want to hit my land drop here. And I can Solitude something, or maybe because of grief I should have just held on to the other 2 cards, which don't do anything. Nah, but they're just like, you know, redundant lock pieces. Unless they're playing Fury, I don't see how my opponent gets out of this. Unless they're playing Fury. Seems very hard for them to get out of this. So that can go and this can go. Play that one. Just going to cast this bad boy. Pass the turn. I don't think I'm afraid of anything. The only thing I could potentially be afraid, I was gonna say, is this thing, but they just can't cast it. So now we can start pressuring. Yeah, this game's over. We are done here. Swing for 3. I guess I was gonna put it here in hand, but I have 6. It's not that it really matters. I can just make a token, I guess. So there's a chalice and a land on top, which I want to shuffle away. My opponent is down 6 minutes, so I don't know if it's worth it to concede for them. It probably is, honestly. Sure. Grief me. I have been griefed. Yep. We just did grief for info. The grief info. Griff info. Griffo. I don't know. Yeah, this is great. Submit it again. I don't think I want to make any changes. Well, this is a really interesting one. We have double lock piece. Opponent keeps 7. We have double lock piece. Like, this hand is incredible, but we're missing land drops. And we really need to hit at least 3 land drops. I think we're gonna ship this. And I guess we're keeping this, which is a much sadder hand. Much sadder hand. We do have to... Maybe I should have bottomed this, actually. Like, this is super awkward with my hand. Okay. All right. All right. Can I cycle some more? No cycle. Okay. I do not feel horrible about my spot. I do not feel horrible. Oof, no land drop is big. No land drop is big. No land drop is massive. So instead we're gonna draw 2 now. I imagine they're gonna hit the land drop off of this Waker of Waves. And that means that we can probably never tap out again. Yep. We can't tap out anymore. We need to draw one of our lock pieces, because eventually my opponent's going to break out of this. And they're going to be able to... So we're going to need, like, probably the best one is Resting Piece. If I can find a Resting Piece... Maybe Chalice is better than Resting Piece, because Chalice means that I can protect it better. So now this is the turn where we're going to be able to go end step Archmage's Charm. I know that I could have played Colonnade, but I think it's very important for me to draw 2. Violent Outburst. I'm just going to veto this. And the reason to veto is my opponent cannot counter back. Maybe I should have counterspelled there. Yeah, actually it would have been better. I should have counterspelled, my opponent disputes, and I just veto. Yeah. Because now if they have dispute now, this is disastrous. Yeah, now if they have dispute, we're super dead. I was thinking about force, but they have dispute too. Yep. Can't counter that one. Yeah, our draw just did not line up. It's pretty rough. I mean, we do have verdicts, I guess. This is lethal, however. So we have one turn to find verdict or to cycle into verdict. And we can only find the 2-mana cycler, so that would be Shark Typhoon. Maybe I should have gone to 5 after my opponent kept 7. I don't know. It does feel like I have so many things that I need to cover. Yeah, I just could never draw 2. Just gonna still have all these me here. Yeah, this is super lethal. All right, got me. See you next round. All right, welcome to round number 4. Currently 2-1, and I guess we have a solid one. Playing against the Lurrus deck, we have interaction on turn 1, which is good. Hopefully we have a land too. Gobbo, hook me up. Yes. Ha ha ha. I'm just gonna go get a basic plains here. This is just so bad. This I'm very likely to get punished for this, but we still get to Teferi on turn 3, so it's not the end of the world. And now we can solely to the Eidolon, which is fine. Or another Gobbo. Okay. Jeez. Draw me a card, Gobbo. Yep. This was the problem of making this play. Now we are in kind of an awkward spot. Also, if they have Eidolon, we're in a lot of trouble. Oof, 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 oof. That's big. That's big, big, big. That's huge. We're gonna get to Teferi minus Swift Spear. And we also get to get a Riftfold for our troubles. That's big game. There's also the possibility, what if I just plus? Because I think I'm gonna plus, and the reason for that is that like my opponent can throw a bunch of stuff at this, which is fine with me. And also, if they don't, what I can do is I can just chalice on 1 next turn and lock this, answer the Swift Spear that way. Looks like my opponent's going face though. We go down to 1. It's land drop there. It's bad news. Hopefully, if they don't find a 2-drop there, that's a 2-drop. Oh, put Lurrus in hand. Okay. Okay, we're in this. We're very much in this. That's huge. Wow. We're gonna turn this game around right now? Is that what's gonna happen? Stabilizing at 1 life. Counterspell. Play land. Plus here. So I can play big Teferi here. I give my opponent the window of one single turn. No, I think I'm supposed to pass. Because things get better for me next turn, right? Like if my opponent doesn't kill me this turn with one of the few cards that they can cast, then next turn we just get to Teferi and hold up Charm. Yeah, so this is just fine. Yeah, we're on end step. Can't do anything. Well, that's just big. Okay, so we are good now, I think. Okay. So that was their draw step. So unless they were sandbagging a two drop, this should be covered. And what we're drawing towards at this point is another Solitude. So that we can connect. If we connect once with Solitude, I think that's going to be enough. We play Lurrus. It's counterspell. Actually, do I? So they can't play anything, and we just bounce it again. Yeah, this is just fine. Yeah, this is just fine. My opponent agrees. Okay, Veto. That's good. Sunset Reverie, also good. Celestial Purge, also good. Contrary to what you may think, I'm not sure Chalice is that good in this matchup because my opponent is very likely to be bringing in Smash to Smithereens, and awkwardly enough, we don't really have an out to Smash to Smithereens. Like what I mean is we don't have any other targets. So if we cut the Chalices, we actually maybe it's one of those like cat and mouse games where my opponent can just like not. They cannot bring anything against the Chalice, and then we get them with it, or like my opponent can bring their answers to the Chalice, and they draw the answers to the Chalice, and we have no targets for it. So this is one of those things where, yeah, it's a little bit of a cat and mouse game. I think on the draw, I'm going to cut the Chalices. Maybe on the play, I will be bringing them in. And I think I'd rather have the third Verdict instead of Jace because Verdict pitches to Solitude. Spreading Seas is actually decent against Burn. But I don't know, I'm not sure how many copies I want. Maybe Seas is better than Verdict. Maybe Deluge is not good enough. This is one of those matchups where I imagine that, you know, like you would ask like Waffle Tapa or somebody like that, you know, like one of those folks that have been playing the control matchups for like literal decades, and they would have a lot more experience in this Cyberland in this matchup than I do. I even with my little experience, I know that this hand is not a keeper. This one maybe. We can ship an island there. I like that. I like that. Let me tell you. Bolt you. Eidolon. So I think I want to do this. Get rid of Eidolon. And now we can actually Revelry, gain 4, and draw a card. Alternatively, I can Spreading Caesar Inspire Advantage. I think I'd rather do this. Just gain 4, draw a card. Yep. Rewarded. That card is scary, though. That's pretty good, though. Just plus here. Next turn I can potentially bounce this unless my opponent drops a bunch of burn at the Teferi, and I can bounce this and counter it on the way back. Draw me a land, please. Solitude. And my opponent just ignoring the Teferi altogether. Bodos Charm face. Bounce. That's pretty good. We're gonna have to counter that thing. And I think I'm gonna Solitude. I could steal the Goblin Guide, but I think I'd rather Solitude. Pitching Big Tef. Get rid of the Gobbo. That's gone. Counter. Now this coming turn. Smatic Ending, not bad. We get to seize a land. Actually, I should have seized the Sacred Foundry. It may be narrow, but if they have Shard Volley, then now they can't cast that. I think that's fine. Just get to trade this for the Reverie, which is fantastic. Still holding up Counterspell. Block. That's fun. Join Lurrus. Alrighty. Spells a Spreading Sea so we can draw more cards. It's not bad. It's not bad. Not bad at all. So whatever they play, I'm just gonna Archmage's Charm. It's Lurrus. Counter that. Next turn we get to Deluge with counter backup. Gobbo. I'm surprised my opponent has not been attempting to do anything at the Teferi. Like, this Teferi has been doing so much work. Yeah, opponent just concedes the game. Yeah, what we were gonna do there is we're just gonna pass the turn, and like if my opponent wants to attack, they have to attack the Teferi, because otherwise what happens is I end step, play the Solitude, and then I attack, and if I connect, they can just never keep up. That was a really good showing against Burn, one of the most popular decks right now. See you for the last round. All right, ready for the last match. Yeah, seems fine. Playing against a Yorion deck, so it can be one of the mid-range decks that have started to be popular. It can be the Control Mirror. It looks like we're playing against a Taxes variant. Guy is so annoying. Oh, this is what's up. Probably like a Stoneforge-ish variant. I could play the Chalice there, but my opponent gets to draw a card. I'm not super into that, you know? We can probably do that next turn. That's getting destroyed by this. Put Yorion into hand. So we're gonna go land into seize that. And we would like to pay 1. Yes, please, and thank you. Still no white card to pitch to this Solitude, but that's fine. Sword of the Meek. This Sentinel doing so much work. I guess if they don't do anything, I'm just gonna take control of it on end step. Really? Alright. Oh, I had to do this in response. Whoops. I kind of punted here. So my opponent's gonna get to draw a card now. That's not great. That was very much a mistake. I was thinking about doing this, but like, I mean, I guess we tap them out, so it's not the end of the world. Do get to gain some life now, and do I want to? I think I want to chalice on 1. It's likely my opponent has some 1s in the deck. We can hard cast Solitude if we want to. All right, I guess they do have some 1s in the deck. All right, so we're definitely bringing the Seas. How good is Chalice on the draw? They're probably playing Esper Sentinel, obviously. They're probably playing Prismatic Endings. Yeah, I think Chalice is gonna get cut. Dispute looks good. It can counter Ursas, which is not bad. I wonder if I'm supposed to bring in Rest in Peace, because they may have... I mean, they have Sword of the Meek. We can beat Infinite Life thanks to Jason the Fairy. They probably have their own Teferis, their own Time Ravelers, so I probably want to hold on to these Shark Typhoons. Honestly, the only card I'm really considering here are the Rest in Peace. I think I'm just gonna submit like this. I could be wrong, but like with the information that I have, I think like the Rest in Pieces are just not really gonna do enough. So I think that with the information I have, I'm going to submit like this, but I could definitely see changing some cards after I get more information in game 2. Let's see what's up. They're on the play, and this hand is unkeepable. Opponent also moves to 6. This hand is great. Sweet. I think I'm gonna send the Hallowed Fountain. I just sent the basic island actually. Probably gonna save these Seas for when I see the turn 1 Sentinel is so good. This time around we can kill it very efficiently on turn 2 though, which is nice. So they're gonna know about this shark. I guess they probably have Pipe Needle, so maybe I don't want to do that. To just have 6 here. Sure. Okay. Stoneforge would be a problem. That one we can probably deal with just fine. Relic? Why is there a relic in their deck? Well, I'm definitely ending the Esper Sentinel. Our life is gonna be a lot easier without that little guy in there. It's a good draw. It's a good draw. Maybe I should have actually shocked there. Not shocking and playing the fortress is better if I find an island, but if I don't, like I'm gonna have to shock next turn, which really telegraphs that I have Archmage's Charm. Although I guess they know about the Shark Typhoon, so maybe they will think that that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I mean, I have to shock anyway, so it's better for me to have shocked on that turn because it doesn't telegraph that I have Archmage's Charm. It just telegraphs that I have to Prismatic Ending, so they don't draw a card. So we know they have Relic. Don't have any other information about their hand. I assume they're gonna play, or at least they're gonna put Yorion in their hand. Yeah, Yorion in hand. All right. Here we go. So these are the known cards. And if they don't do anything, I think I'm drawing two. I think I'm drawing two. Or countering an Whirza, like if that's something that my opponent is interested in. Take 3. That's fine. Crack Relic. You got it, Chief. They can name Shark Typhoon here. I think I'm gonna risk them naming Shark Typhoon there. The Fairy Hero of Dominaria is what they name. That's fine. So this guy is gonna draw 2. I'm not gonna use the second Seas. I can just solitude this thing. But getting them off white is not bad. Like their mana base is not great, right? If they go land Whirza, this is a problem, but like they didn't have a land last turn. Seems like they don't even have an artifact here. I don't get it 1/1, but this is fine. I think I want to use my mana. Counterspell would be nice. Prismatic Ending. That's very nice. So 1, 2, 3. Play this guy. And they named Hero of Dominaria. They did not name the little boy. They do have the Rebuke, which is fine. And now we ending this and we stop the pressure. We have a Wrath to get rid of Whirza. Can also just hardcast the Solitude. If they play a Saga, we have it covered too. It's not unlikely that we're just really mana screwing them right now. So I'm gonna double down on it. I'm gonna double down on it. Play these tapped and draw Kahira. Pass the turn. Again, we have the Wrath for a potential Whirza, so it's not really that big of a deal. That's perfectly fine. Please play something else. You can get it eaten up. They didn't. I'm definitely just Wrathing here. It's nice that we have Dispute up in case they have another one. Well, the only thing that we don't really want to see right now is a Saga. Counterspell is nice, so just gonna play this bad boy. It's a good boy, actually. Kahir is a good boy. Counterspell plus Dispute up. This is looking pretty good. Springleaf Drum doesn't do anything at all, so it's going to resolve. Land is not great, but it's not terrible either. Yeah, that's the one that I wish that they didn't draw. If I find the fairy though, that would be awesome. They get no value at all from this. This is fine. I can just solitude it. Baby Tef would have been really nice there. Oops. So that's gone. We have Jace in the deck, so maybe I want to hold on to this Delta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make a token. It's pretty good for me because now I can just ending it. These spreading seas are working overtime. I think I'm just gonna shuffle. It's worse if I find exactly Jace. It needs to be exactly Jace though. Do I counter or do I dispute? I think I'm gonna dispute. Although this dispute is going to be live for a while, but like I have so much mana, I actually can value the flexibility a little bit higher. This is a 2-turn clock also, so I guess if we find an answer to this, we're just Gucci. Scry. Well. How about both? Top. Let's do 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We kill the needle. So let's get rid of that one. It's ending the biting needle. And then we're going to play Hero of Dominaria. And I think I'm just going to draw here. Hold up Counterspell. Swing for 7. I should have tapped one of these. My opponent can't really attack because they're just dead on the crackback, so... And I think plussing, because I'm short on cards, plussing is better than minusing on the token. Because it also allows me to hold up Counterspell, and Whirza is kind of the only way that my opponent can get out of this. Is they just resolve an Whirza. So right now they can Whirza with Dispute. So there's that. They can Whirza with Dispute backup. Their white mana remains very limited. And even their construct doesn't even kill our Teferi asses. So we seem to be in okay shape. It's an interesting deck that my opponent's playing. I'm not sure that you want to be playing Yorion in that deck though. Yorion seems kind of medium. It's an interesting idea. I actually saw a deck that top 8 an event recently. Or it didn't top 8, I guess it top 16. I think it was one of the PTQs. I think it was one of the PTQs. Oh, there we go. 4-on-1. 4-on-1. Yeah, as I said in the intro, is this deck is just so strong. This deck is so good. It just feels like it has every angle covered. Like it's just everything that you want to be answering, you just have a very good way of answering, and you also get access to some very very just powerful cards. Like we got very unlucky, I feel like, to lose against Living, and that the game one particularly. Game three, my opponent set everything up very well. Like my opponent played that matchup very well. They seem to be experienced Living players, like they knew how to navigate the matchup. But it really felt like I got very unlucky to not find either any of the counter spells or like the Fairy Time Raveler or like another one of my chalices. So it just feels like you have a good setup in literally everything. Like every matchup and every step of the way, you can have a way to just either be doing something very very powerful, which is cool too. But not only are you doing something very powerful, but you have very powerful ways of stopping your opponents from doing something very powerful, and your answers are so flexible and so efficient that they just line up well. Like you just end up ahead in the vast majority of those exchanges. And when you don't, and your opponent tries to play around something, like Memory Deluge is huge. The only card I was kind of medium on was Jace. I wonder if this would be better just as another Memory Deluge. This is a list that won the PTQ, by the way. Like it won the first PTQ that happened this past weekend. And this is the deck list that got first, and it was playing the one copy of Jace. But just having to tap out for Jace is kind of weird. Like this feels like the first true control deck that we've had in a really long time in the format. That it's actually good, of course. Because we also had the Esper deck, but that deck was kind of a trap. If you like, this is the first time that we can actually play as a control deck of the old times, just like the classic Drogo style control, instead of a tap out control. So this feels like it doesn't really quite play into that game plan, and it's 4 mana. Like 4 mana is so much. The Teferi Hero of Dominaria is kind of 3 mana, right? Because you're tapping 5, but you're getting 2 of those back, which allows you to hold up counter spell. Or like we did Archmage's Charm whenever you have your 6 lands. So it just lines up so much better. While Jace is just clunky, just kind of awkward, and it's really hard to find a window in order to deploy him and protect him. So maybe it's better as like an extra copy of Memory Deluge, so you can cruise your card advantage at instant speed. I don't know. But all I know is that this deck is very good, and if you're interested in checking it out, you should do so, because you can do a lot of winning with it. If you enjoyed the content, make sure that you can subscribe to the ICE channel, and thank you so much for watching. My name is Francisco, of course, Fpawlusz on Twitch, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye and take care.